Here at 6, a WHAS 11 Focus investigation. Tonight, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg's office says it is reorganizing one of the city's top programs to fight gang violence because it does not have enough resources. The strategy is being called Group Violence Intervention, or GVI. It's led to a 35% reduction in homicides in certain cities. In Louisville's second year of the program, homicides decreased 10%. Focus investigator Travis Breeze tells us how the program works in other parts of the country and what some of the hurdles have been here in Metro Louisville.
Mayor Greg Fisher launched Group Violence Intervention, or GVI, in October 2020. The idea is to have direct contact with violent street groups or gangs. As we told you last month, the FBI is aware of 20 or more active gangs in the Metro Louisville area. GVI reaches people in two ways: call-ins and custom notifications. Custom notifications are done by a small group of police and faith leaders who go door to door, meeting with people that are at the highest risk of being shot. A call-in is a meeting at a neutral location where known gang members listen to a message from city leaders and parents of shooting victims. I spoke to several people within GVI who say they are not reaching enough gang members through call-ins and feel the city needs to refocus to get more results.
This spot where we're at, this is where my son received his death sentence, and then I'll receive a life sentence.
Nothing could ever prepare you for the death of your own son.
It's all taken away from you in a matter of seconds. And you're weak, you're vulnerable, you have no control of your emotions.
In December 2012, Kenneth Forbes Jr. was shot and killed in Shively.
Days after, months, weeks, months after, I still had a responsibility to still take care of, my mother, my son.
Forbes Sr. says he turned to his faith after the shooting and wanted to use his son's death to help others. He formed a support group for other grieving families and has spoken at 2 call-in meetings for GVI.
I sold all the pictures of my son, and when the meeting was over with, each and every last one of those individuals came up and hugged me and said, "I'm sorry for your loss."
The city has held 3 call-ins, and we're told the combined attendance has been somewhere between 13 and 18 violent group members.
To this juncture, we've not had the success with call-ins that we need.
The National Network for Safe Communities, which invented GVI, says Louisville is handling call-in attendance differently than every other jurisdiction. The Kentucky Department of Corrections says it can only mandate an offender to go to a call-in if they were convicted of a gang-related crime. And to date, no offender identified by GVI has been on supervision for a gang-related crime. Therefore, probation and parole has not been able to require attendance, but does encourage participation. Josh Crawford, who is on the GVI Governance Committee, doesn't understand why we have this restriction when other cities like Baltimore can require anyone on probation or parole to attend.
Most states and jurisdictions deal with this pretty straightforward and reasonably. We would be not just an outlier, but we would be a sole outlier.
Other than attendance, Crawford believes there was a lack of coordination within GVI under the Fisher administration and says it was not a central part of the policing strategy.
LMPD is doing that as it relates to independent investigations, but it's not necessarily information that is being transferred from GVI call-ins and things that are happening after that are then resulting in enforcement actions.
Baltimore is in its 3rd iteration of a GVI-type program. Civilian Director Jeremy Biddle says the strategy requires total buy-in from city leaders and law enforcement.
For this strategy to work, you cannot look at it as a program or a boutique project. It's a different way of doing business. And characterizing it as anything other than that is, to be honest, it's problematic.
Biddle says they have found the custom notifications more effective than the call-ins. This is video of what a custom notification would look like. Louisville has done 267 custom notifications, and the city says only 20 people were shot at again or committed a crime after their visit. Mayor Greenberg's office denied our request to speak to Civilian Director Dondre Jefferson, but Deputy Mayor for Public Safety David James James says the custom notifications are working.
We're preventing people from being shot. The ultimate goal is to prevent gun violence, right? And so if that is retaliatory gun violence or proactive gun violence, attacking somebody, if we prevented that from occurring, then I consider that to be successful.
James says GVI is in a reorganization right now, and they are speaking to each agency to determine how to improve it.
I think we're headed in a positive direction. I think we've been headed in a positive direction, but the trajectory hasn't been what it needs to be.
We're not going away. And I want the shooters and whoever's involved in these horrific murders to understand that we're not going away.
In Louisville, Travis Breeze, WHAS 11 on your side.
The people who come to the call-in meetings we told you about are past criminals on probation or parole. The majority of attendance has been voluntary, but in the last few months, a few judges locally have mandated attendance through court orders.